Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amin here and I'm filming another week in my life as a genetic counselor. I currently work as a prenatal genetic counselor and I also do a little bit of general genetics and preconception genetics, but most of the time I am working with pregnant people and families. It's been a while since I've done a week in my life, so I thought it would be a good time for me to do it. It's currently Monday and I'm obviously at home. So I work from home 3 days a week and then 2 days a week I go into our office space. And today it's actually towards the end of the day. I made a few different versions of this video, but from the feedback that I've gotten, everybody appreciates hearing my daily recap at the end of each day rather than at the end of the week, hearing about all the cases. So I thought I would just give you an update on what's been happening today, Monday. It's actually been a pretty busy day. It's hard to know what to expect from a week when you're in prenatal because we don't have a set number of referrals that we get. We essentially see almost everybody that gets referred. Some weeks are light, some weeks are heavy. So we'll see what this week holds. This morning, I only had one patient today, technically, and they were scheduled for this afternoon. So in the morning, I had a few patients to call. So I had a result to call from an amniocentesis that came out on Friday, but I wasn't able to reach the patient before I left for the day. So I followed up with them today. And then after that, I followed up with a patient that's scheduled to have their amnio tomorrow. They don't have the provincial coverage, so I just want to confirm that they were on the same page about the payment process in terms of what to bring for tomorrow and then potentially how to get reimbursed. So things that are not necessarily related to being a genetic counselor, just administrative tasks, which I think a lot of genetic counselors have to do as part of their day. After that, I had to review a family history with a geneticist. So I met with this patient for a mosaic embryo transfer. And that time they told me their sibling had basically proactive genetic screening done and they found a few different things, and I asked them to send me a copy of their brother's report if they could. So I had some questions about that. So I wanted to review with the geneticist and get their input on it. So I did that, and now I'm gonna have to call the patient later on this week to kind of review what the geneticist recommended. Then I called out another result. I called out two more results actually in the morning. I called out one result for an increased NT patient. I got the last set of genetics results from their amnio, which was good news, which means everything is normal for them in this pregnancy, which is awesome. There was a small hole in the heart that they found, but the baby can just be seen after birth. Like, it's not expected to really cause any issues around delivery time. So that was that result. And then I called out a result for a couple where one of them has a Robertsonian translocation, which just means two of their chromosomes are stuck together. They're healthy, they have no health concerns because of the right amount of chromosome information, and it's just arranged a little bit differently. But when you have children, there is a chance for you to pass down an imbalance, either sperm or egg. So they got their first set of results back, which was normal, and that was good. So I called them with some good news. I just realized all of my results so far had been good news today, which is amazing, and that doesn't always happen. Today was a good day. And this afternoon I had an appointment. It was supposed to be a general case, so a non-pregnant case, but I just had a feeling that this person, I don't know how to explain it, my intuition was just telling me to look into their chart and confirm that they're still not pregnant. And shocker, they're actually pregnant now. So we got these referrals months ago, so they're booked like way later. So I just checked and they just had their first ultrasound last week, so very early in the pregnancy. They were referred because they've had recurrent miscarriages, and then one of them was a higher chance for a chromosome abnormality. And so I met with them. Luckily, it didn't really change much about the fact that they were pregnant. I could still offer them all the same different tests. Talked with them. A lot of it had to do with like their anxieties about being pregnant again, you know, thinking that things were gonna go wrong like the previous times. And so even though like statistically the chances for that happening again are quite low, I think the people that I meet with, I think it's natural to be a little bit more concerned or worried or anxious in the pregnancy. So that's just kind of normalizing their feelings about it. I have to actually document that case because right after I went to a meeting with my colleagues, we are wrapping up one of our student rotations. So we do first year students and we also take summer students. So it's the last week of our first student of 2024. So we kind of had to meet together and then review the assessment for them, their strengths, their weaknesses. So we did that. And then now I'm going to finally document the one patient that I saw today. And then I also have to email the student what to prepare for for tomorrow. It's their last day tomorrow and they're seeing a case with me. So I have to email them just some information so they can prepare for that case. And then I think that's it for the day. Then it's gonna be 4 p.m, log out. I have some errands to run right after work. I have to go drop off some packages because I buy a lot of stuff, so I have to return some of that stuff. And I also go to the library. I have some new books in that I need to pick up that are waiting for me on hold, and today's the last day and all my holds are catching up, so like I have a lot of books that I need to read. Tomorrow I go into work. I will catch you guys at some point tomorrow. Whoa. Hi everyone. I have had the busiest day and I had no patients. That is wild. I completely forgot to give you a recap yesterday. Let me just recap what we did yesterday and then we'll get into today. Okay, so let me change the angle here. It's like a sunny day today, which I'm super happy about. It was our student's last day yesterday. So in the morning we met and we prepped for the patient. That was at 10:30, which was an NIPT positive for trisomy 21 or Down syndrome. The student did most of the session, which was amazing. Later that afternoon, we had our meeting to go over her review for her rotation, which she excelled at, which was amazing. And then after the appointment with that patient, there's so much work that you have to do after you see a patient. Like, genetic counseling is not just having the patient appointment and that's it. Obviously before that, I reviewed the plan with the student. If I didn't have a student, it would just be me reviewing all the documents, making a plan, determining what tests they're eligible for. And then after the appointment, once the patient decided what to do, I had to fax the doctor an initial note to say that we met, and then I had to do the paperwork for the CVS, so to prepare all of that for the day of the procedure, all the requisitions that are required. And then I also had to document everything, which is like the most agonizing part of being a genetic counselor, honestly, is all the administrative tasks that you have to do. And then obviously I debriefed with the student as well right after the appointment. We probably spent like 20-25 minutes to review like what went well, what we could improve in the future. So that was that one patient that I had. And then the rest of the day, I can't even tell you what I did. I think I had to put together some other requisitions for the patient that I had on Monday. I had to put together requisitions. We were doing ethnicity-based thalassemia screening. And then I did not check off everything on my list. I did not get to doing the whole exome application for that stillbirth patient of mine. I didn't even get to it today, so that's that. And then today, working from home again, it's Wednesday. I don't know what's going on. We have so many referrals that came in yesterday and today. So between my team, we split the days that we do triage. So in our specialty in our clinic, we triage our own cases. And then obviously every specialty, every clinic will do things differently. But for our prenatal group, we triage our own cases and we have assigned days of the week that we do triage. So my day is Wednesday. And we probably got like, I want to say at least 10 referrals that came in today, which is a lot. And almost all of them were high risk referrals. So just to give you an idea, typically in a week, we probably get like 3 or 4, maybe 5 high risk referrals. I probably got 5 high risk referrals today alone, and then we had about 3 yesterday. So lots of, I don't know what's happening, but we had some NIPT positive for Down syndrome, we had increased nuchal translucency, we had NIPT for Turner syndrome. So every single one of us got new cases to book this week. So I spent some time reviewing all the referrals and then passing them off to whichever counselor they get assigned to. And the ones that I got assigned to, I reviewed them and then sent them to a secretary so they could book them. So I'm seeing one tomorrow and then one on Friday. So far, there could be other things that come in as well. And then I had a meeting at 1 o'clock. One of our genetic assistants is in the application process for a genetic counseling school. So they just wanted to, role play some interview questions. So I did that with them for an hour. And then I watched a webinar. In reality, I was doing paperwork. But yeah, the webinar was on in the background. It was about whole exome sequencing for prenatal diagnosis. So I needed to get some credits to maintain my certification, so I did that. And I did not call any of my patients today. Didn't call anybody. The QF-PCR results, which are for the amnios that were done yesterday, I just tried to call one patient, they didn't pick up, and the other one was an increased nuchal translucency, are out. Okay, my colleague just messaged everybody that the other reports are available. So I'm gonna call that last patient, I'm gonna log out for the day, and then tomorrow we're also at home. I'm just logging out of work. I barely did anything on my to-do list. It has been a wild day. I'm actually just about to head out on a walk because beautiful and sunny outside, and it's also like 6 degrees or something. Let me put you down so I can tell you about my day. So this morning I started out with an 8:30 meeting. Our genetic counselors, we have a weekly meeting with our manager and just like talk about clinic related stuff. So I did that for 8:30 to 9:30. Then I called out the results for the patients that I was trying to reach yesterday, the normal amniocentesis results. So I was able to reach both of them, which is great. And then I was getting ready to see my 11 o'clock patient, which is an alpha thalassemia non-pregnant case. So these are just like, compared to my pregnant cases, these are so easy. And anyway, so I was getting ready to see them, and then it was at 11 o'clock, and then at like 10:55, I get a call from one of my pregnant patients, and they're like really not doing well, considering stopping the pregnancy and just like all over the place. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like I am going into a meeting right now, but let's like schedule a time later today, and then also involve the doctor that I work with. I just wanted them to have like a space where they could actually like talk through like why they were feeling this kind of way, like what changed for them in the last couple weeks really. So that like threw me off, but whatever. And then I met with my thalassemia patient. It was like 20 minutes, very easy. And then it was lunch, then I ate my lunch, and then after lunch I had to prep for my NIPT positive patient. Like I told you guys, something is happening. We're just getting so many referrals, and I just told you about another NIPT positive case earlier this week, and they're both for Down syndrome, which is like wild. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I met with them. They want to do an amniocentesis. I literally got nothing done for that patient after. I didn't even finish documenting, because right after that I went to that meeting for that, you know, ad hoc patient that called in kind of not well. So I was in that meeting for like 40 minutes or something, and then it was basically 3:45. So then at the end of the day, I was like, okay, let me at least document the NIPT patient that I saw this afternoon. So I started documenting for them. I didn't finish it, which is fine. I'll just do it tomorrow. I mean, is it really fine? I don't know. Like, I documented the part of the conversation that like I don't want to forget, and then the rest of it is just like facts, like ultrasound information and stuff. Then I emailed them confirming their appointment for next week. And then tomorrow, I have one patient tomorrow, but it's going to be an entire catch-up day. I'm going to the office tomorrow, and I have so much stuff, guys, that I didn't get done this week. I never know when I start these vlogs if it's gonna be like a slow week or like a heavy week. And I guess it's lucky for you that it is a heavy week, because then you get like a lot of content and you gotta really understand like what I do on a regular basis. But it's obviously not lucky for me because I have a lot of work to do. So yeah, I still have things on my list from Tuesday that we didn't get done. And so I'm gonna have to do all of that. I haven't been able to call any of my other results that I needed to call. Tomorrow we're just gonna have to like really, you know, pump out all of these results, document everything, send all these people their requisitions, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, no other fires come, no other major hurdles come in the day. But we'll see. That's the thing about prenatal, you never know. Like literally you never know what's gonna come and like disturb your whole schedule, but I am one of those people that loves that, so can't blame anyone but myself. I put myself in a situation, and not all genetic counseling is like this. I will say, like, my clinic is general. Plenty of my colleagues don't do prenatal. They do like very scheduled, organized work. I just want to be in a situation, so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I will catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow after work, Dharma and I are actually going away for the weekend. So he's picking me up right after work, so I'll try to vlog. So yeah, I'll take my camera and then I will update you guys either on the drive or when we get to our destination. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add to the agenda before I send it out? Okay guys, it's very clearly the next day. I was so exhausted yesterday that I did not have the energy to recap my day. I actually ended up staying a little bit late. Darm was waiting for me and he was waiting an extra like 45 minutes because my day just went in a completely different direction than what I planned. So essentially, you guys know I had one patient yesterday, so my schedule looked like not much. I had one patient, it was a first trimester screen positive case. They were very, very worried. The risk was about 10%. They wanted to proceed with non-invasive prenatal testing or NIPT, and they said they would not have an amniocentesis because it wouldn't change the outcome of the pregnancy. Like for example, if the NIPT came back high risk and it was very likely to be a chromosome condition, they would still continue the pregnancy. People make lots of different decisions depending on, life circumstances, their beliefs, their values, kind of like where their family's at, and that's completely fine. We're able to support people no matter what their decision is. So I only had one patient. Obviously meeting with the patient, prepping for it. Now that I've been working for, a few years, prepping does not take much time. It's only like 5-10 minutes because most of the cases that I see, nothing is really that shocking anymore, except some of the other non-pregnant cases that I see. Those are pretty sometimes out there. But yeah, so I met with that patient, met them for an hour or so. So it was both the patient and the partner. And then after that, you have to document the entire session. So all the charting, faxing the doctor that they're doing NIPT, emailing the patient the requisitions for NIPT. And then we got back the result for that patient that was considering termination, that happened on Thursday. So we got back the result. The microarray was normal. So I was able to call that out with our geneticist, and she's feeling much better, which is great. And then I had all of these results to call out, as you guys know, for the entire week, and I had zero time to call them. I called out one, and it was the cystic fibrosis result. So there was a family, they were referred for something else, and then it came up that their mom did a 23andMe and was found to be a carrier for cystic fibrosis. And I was like, well, that's concerning. So we did testing on that patient, and they are a carrier, so they inherited it from mom. But we tested the partner at the same time because they're currently pregnant. We didn't want to waste time. And the partner's result came back low risk to be a carrier for CF. So that's good, overall low chance to have a baby that has this condition. So that's the only result that I was able to call out. And then at 3 o'clock, 3:15, I get an email from our lab director saying that I have abnormal microarray results. And it was unexpected. The microarray, this patient had amniocentesis because, I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it was a stressful day. This patient had amniocentesis because their son has a microarray finding, and the son has features of this finding. So they have autism and delay, and they're pregnant, and they wanted to find out if the pregnancy has the same thing. We didn't know what the chance for it to happen again was because the parents didn't have testing themselves. So we didn't know if this was something that was passed down from one of them, or if it was something that happened randomly in their child. So we did the testing, and it came back to show the pregnancy has the same thing. And so that pretty much confirms that most likely one of the parents has the same thing. And I was to the lab director, I was okay, is it the same, chromosome difference that they found in the son? Is that what the report is? Because they basically emailed us to give us a heads up, but the report doesn't come for another hour. So I was just sitting there for an hour waiting for these results to come in. And if it wasn't so urgent, I probably would have been like, okay, I don't have the results by 4 o'clock, like I'll just have to wait until Monday. But this patient is like further along in the pregnancy, and I wanted to make sure that they would have the option of like stopping the pregnancy if they wanted within the same week, because we make our decisions on the Monday of the week. So if we didn't meet them on Monday and we would have met them on Tuesday, they would have missed that opportunity. So I was like sitting there like just waiting. Obviously I had all these other things to do while I was waiting. And then the lab director gets back to me that it is that same familial, you know, variant in that chromosome, but there's also another chromosome difference on a completely different chromosome that is like probably gonna make things more severe for this child. And so I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, how is this happening? There's 2 genetic things happening in this pregnancy. So then I quickly reviewed it with, as soon as the report came out, like I quickly reviewed it with our geneticist, whoever was like on that day, and they were just like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna be more severe if anything. And so I tried calling the patient and they didn't pick up. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. But then I was like, dang, there's a second number. And again, I just didn't want them to miss the opportunity for a Monday appointment. So I called the second number and they picked up, and I explained it. Obviously they were heartbroken. And so then I booked them with a geneticist on Monday to review these results. So by the time I got out of work, it was like 4:45 or something like that, and I finished at 4. I was exhausted, but like I just like didn't like, I just needed to do everything in my power to make sure this person had their results. I was telling Dharma on the way here, like I know my job is stressful, and like I know that a lot of people wouldn't want to work in these circumstances, but I love it. Like it's like a love-hate relationship. Like I love what I do. I cannot see myself doing anything else, but it is very stressful. Like it is very high stress. It is very like time sensitive. There's a lot of pressure, and sometimes that pressure comes from yourself, right? Like nobody told me I had to call out these results Friday before I left. I could have called them out on Monday, and I'm sure like other people would have waited until Monday as well. But like I just like really think about if I was in this person's situation, they wouldn't even have known that they missed the opportunity, right? Like to get these results on Friday instead of Monday. But anyways, all of that to say, I actually had a very, very, very busy week. Next week is going to be even worse because all the referrals that we got in the last couple of days, we're gonna have to see them next week, / all the follow-up for all the referrals that we got in. All the results are gonna start coming in. I am expecting at least 2 abnormal results next week. So it's really a lot of follow-up with prenatal rather than seeing new patients. Like you have to like follow up with somebody multiple times, right? Especially if they do proceed with extra testing. Let me know what other kinds of videos you guys want to see. Obviously I do prenatal, right? So that is like very heavy in all of my vlogs. I do some preconception as well. I just don't get to talk about it as much because it is like a very small percentage of what I do on a regular basis. But I hope these videos are helpful for you. Like when I was looking at genetic counseling, there is nothing like this out there. And so if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. If you want to see any other genetic counseling related videos, let me know as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.